It was an outstanding day. Teddy, you picked the Texans to win this game.
I did, yes.
Yeah, I think I did too, didn't I?
And also we said after in the show that what would we be talking about today? And I said today, Rex Ryan would owe the Houston Texans an apology because of the performance I knew they were going to put up.
Well, before we hear from Rex, let's hear from the Texans. Rex had been suggesting that this was a bye week for the Chargers. Ooh. And believe me, the Texans were aware of it.
I thought that boy said a bye week. That boy said bye week. What's going on? We smoking on that Rex Ryan bye week type. Come on, Rex.
Who says you can't motivate a team, man?
Oh!
Yeah, bring
I
the
can
stogie
still
out.
motivate a team with the best of them and things like that, but my goodness, I mean, it was, who had a worse day? Me or Justin Herbert? It's probably right there, but I got to tell, you got to tip your hat to them because that team played their absolute asses off. Look, if you guys were going to play like that, I would have taken you to win the Super Bowl. But I'm seeing the games going up into it, 1-5 against playoff teams. I'm seeing all that, and sorry, Houston.
Oh, we got one!
But if you think I'm not picking you next week either.
Oh, boy.
Well, maybe I will.
Let's talk about how they did this, and let's talk about who did it. You played for D'Amico Ryan. Not only was he your defensive coordinator, but actually when you first came into the league, he was your position coach. So you know him that level of well. What role does he have in this team struggling down the stretch the way they did, rising up the way they did yesterday?
Yeah, the unique thing with me and D'Amico, we both came into it together. My first year with the 49ers was his first year as a linebacker coach. And I'm so happy for his success and the way that he's leading this group. Am I surprised? No, not at all, because this guy is one of the truest leaders of men that I've been around. And the way that he's been able to motivate this group, showing clips of Rex Ryan before the game, talking about it's a bye week and this, and that. He had them playing the exact right way.
What specifically does he do? What makes him so good as a leader and as a motivator?
You see the clips. You see this energy that he's bringing. Tell me another head coach that you see running up and down the sideline motivating a group like this. Yeah. That fire that's within him, he played with that same fire on game day when he was playing with the Houston Texans and the Philadelphia Eagles.
And you know, that's the thing about this guy. There's not a phony bone in this guy's body. He's legit. And we talked about how important it is to connect with your players. He certainly has that. And it's not just because he played the game. It's just who he is. Yeah. And and look, the guy he's one of the only coaches in the history of the game to take a rookie quarterback into the playoffs and get a win and things like that. This guy's absolutely legit. And quite honestly, I would do the same thing. If I saw a comment on hey, somebody made or whatever,
you manufacture motivation.
Now, I never thought I'd be on the motivating them, but quite honestly, they deserved it. They kicked the heck out of that.
What D'Amico said was that slow start that they overcame, but the slow start wasn't by the defense also, because they drove all the way down the field and they held them to a field goal. Okay,
right.
And
Chargers,
then the Chargers, and then the very next play, first play for the Houston Texans, turnover, and they held them to 3 points. So it was 6-0 instead of that. CJ needed that ball over his head to wake him up.
So look, congratulations to the Texans. They deserve all the credit in the world. They get the win and they get to go on. But an equal storyline in this game was the struggle of Justin Herbert. He has 2 playoff games in his career now, and they've both been complete disasters. The first, you'll recall, they lose the enormous lead against Jacksonville. And then yesterday, again, he threw one more interception in this game than he threw the entire season. Alex, what did you see?
Yeah, there were a lot of things in this game. Listen, the 2 strengths of the Chargers that we talked about going into this was their offensive line, especially the 2 tackles, and they got their butt kicked yesterday, right? This Texans D-line took it over. And then again, this Chargers defense, which was #1 in scoring in the NFL going into this, and they got over 400 yards put up on them and over 30 points. But for Justin Herbert, listen, it's never going to be clean pockets in the playoffs, right? Everybody's good. And I never saw him, listen, he was 1 for 10 when under pressure in this game with an interception, right? How many times have we seen Patrick or Josh or Lamar, these guys, like, when you realize your O-line is struggling, you got to go do something else, right? You got to use your legs. You got to take off.
Let me say,
Rush.
and how many rushing yards did Justin Herbert have? 0.
Yeah.
His inability to do that. Are we not watching Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, all of these teams, even C.J. Stroud? That 27-yard run, you know what that did for the team?
Yep.
You look to that sideline, and that team was turned, all right, as C.J. said it at his post-game presser, because everything was perfect. It wasn't working. The play wasn't there. Make a play. Yep. That's what CJ did. That's what he did when it was snapped over his head. Also, Herbert, he's got this thing in him, almost like too trusting. Like, I trust this play. I trust my players. I'll wait, and I'll throw it, and there's an incompletion or an interception. No, you got to take off. This is how you're winning in the playoffs. These quarterbacks, when it's not there, they have the ability to run for the first down and scramble.
Well, and there's no reason he shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's has the ability to be a dual threat. He leads the NFL, all right, in scramble yard. He was averaging 10 yards every time he touched it.
What happened? Why didn't he?
Take off with it. But you got to credit this defense. Look, we know those tackles. I told you guys they were going to have to chip the entire game because those two ends are that good. Hunter and Anderson are too damn good. But they just locked them down like crazy. And to me, that Stingley, Lassiter, those guys were the difference. Couldn't get anybody open. And I'll tell you this. To me, the difference in this game was not just the play of C.J. Stroud, which was outstanding, but when you hit the quarterback, sometimes the entire team feels it. That was what happened in this game.
Right.
That's it. I mean, I was going to mention Justin Herbert. I think he's playing on a hurt ankle. You know, I think that's what's showing up right now in his game. I'm not sure, but maybe that's part of the reason why he's not scrambling with the football like he has been. You know, it's going to be a tough day when you throw 4 interceptions. I mean, even if you throw 1, 2 interceptions, the name of the game in the NFL is the turnover margin. You know, you got to win in the turnover battle. You got to take it away and you got to protect it on offense. They didn't do either of those.
Yeah, no doubt. And as bad as they played, if he doesn't have the turnovers, it's still a one-score game in the fourth quarter, and you got a chance.
It seems ridiculous to say it now, but the first quarter they looked in complete control of the game, and the Texans were the team that looked completely discombobulated. That 3rd and 16 changes the entire momentum